Four people who Belfast woman Maria Cahill says carried out an IRA investigation into her claim of rape by a senior Republican in 1997 say they won't take up an offer to meet with the Taoiseach. Peter Madden of Madden and Finucane Solicitors, who represents Pádraig Wilson, Seamus Finucane, Breed Wright and Maura McCrory, yesterday published a letter he wrote to the Taoiseach last week saying he'd advised his clients against any meeting. Peter Madden is on the phone now. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Gavin.
Why won't your clients meet the Taoiseach?
Well, it seems to me, having looked at the transcript of the Dáil meeting on the 22nd of October last Wednesday, that the Taoiseach has already made his mind up about this. And he has already stated very clearly that he states as a fact that my clients were members of the IRA, and he doesn't even state that as an allegation. What he said is, I'm reading from the transcript, he said that the central issue here, a young woman who was raped and sexually abused being required by powerful people within the IRA to attend at a meeting and having to face her abuser. So he's taken that as a fact, when in fact it's not a fact at the moment. It is a fact, but it's a disputed fact, and it's an allegation. So it seems to me that the Taoiseach attempting to meet people in which allegations, unproved allegations actually, to meet with them is some sort of political stunt, I would say, because the fact is that these people, my clients, or four of my clients, have been acquitted by a court on these self-same allegations.
Maria Cahill has been consistent in her claims for many months now. Some people, many people indeed, would argue that her consistency over a long period of time gives her great credibility. What would you say?
Well, I would say that her credibility could only be tested properly in a court of law, and that was arranged. A trial was due to take place in which she would make the allegations in court, and she would be challenged in those allegations. Now, my clients have waited 4 years to challenge the allegations that she has made, and she's made them in great detail. And in fact, two of my clients, Maura McCrory and Breed Wright, have worked tirelessly for years in the Falls Women's Centre, helping abused women and children. And she has made these allegations about both all four, including Breed Wright and Maura McCrory. They are untested, and it seems to me that the Taoiseach cannot conduct any sort of inquiry into this affair at all. It's a matter for the courts. The courts in the north here is the same system in the north, or practically the same system in the north as it is in the south. I practice in both jurisdictions in criminal law, and it's very, very similar.
There was a 4-year wait, as you said, before the case went to court after concerns about the prosecution's case. Maria Cahill withdrew her support for the prosecution, and there were clearly concerns about the prosecution because it's now being reviewed by a leading human rights barrister.
Yes, but the concerns about the prosecution, I've got concerns about the prosecution. I haven't got concerns about the prosecutor. I've got concerns about some parts of the prosecution. But let me just ask you a question. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but were you aware that Maria Cahill wrote a letter to the IRA Army Council?
It's not a question I can answer, I'm afraid, Peter Madden.
Well, I mean, I don't think you would be aware of it, because you wouldn't have heard about it in Spotlight, BBC Spotlight, and you wouldn't have heard about it, you wouldn't have seen it in the Sunday papers. But it is a fact. And that what she did was, she wrote a letter, and this is part of the prosecution case, by the way. This isn't the prosecution papers, this is not a secret document. What she said in this letter, she was complaining because she had written to the IRA previously and they hadn't responded. Now, she has written a letter to the IRA Army Council, believe it or not. And what she says is, she complains about the fact that the IRA didn't actually carry out a proper investigation.
Can I ask you?
She said, just let me finish.
Yes.
She says, I also want to make it clear that I believe the Army's intentions were honourable with regards to the two women who deal with me. Now, she's referring there to Breed Wright and Maura McCrory. She accuses them of being in the IRA. My two clients have denied being members of the IRA. They were arrested. They were questioned. They denied membership of the IRA. We were waiting for a trial. And then, lo and behold, on the eve of the trial in relation to Martin Morris, Miss Cahill decides that she's not going to give evidence.
That's a letter we haven't seen, so you understand I can't comment on it in that sense, and that's a letter we haven't seen and we can't verify in that sense. But can I ask you...
She also went on to say that she had an option to go to the RUC and decided not to.
Can I ask you what interaction, if any, did your clients have with Maria Cahill?
Well, you see, that's the whole point of this. That process is within a trial process. And I think, the public are very much aware that when people are accused of any sort of serious crime, and that serious crime is prosecuted and they're brought to trial, the public are very much aware that people will reserve their defence and they will conduct their defence and they will challenge the accusations by the accuser if they want to do that.
Were your clients in a room with Maria Cahill over a period of many months, questioning her about her rape allegations?
The question in relation to that, Gavin, Maria Cahill refused to come to court in a public way and make her allegations. She wrote to the IRA Army Council.
Will you release that letter publicly, Peter Madden?
Implies that she cooperated in the investigation.
Will you release that letter publicly, Peter?
Well, the letter's in the prosecution documents. It's at page 600 or something like that in the trial papers. And I'm surprised that the BBC Spotlight didn't refer to it. And I'm surprised that none of the Sunday papers referred to it. It's page 600 something or other. Probably didn't actually reach that extent of the trial papers. But it's a very important document.
Peter Madden,
she also has made a note to the IRA investigation team, setting out what her allegations are. In other words, it would seem from these papers that she was cooperating with an IRA investigation. Now, bear in mind, my clients deny membership of the IRA and have denied that all along and haven't had the opportunity to challenge these accusations.
You also say that your clients have been subjected to trial by media, that their innocence has been impugned. Will they take legal action against those who say they're guilty?
Yes, they will, in fact. And as far as this BBC Spotlight programme is concerned, they will be taking action against Spotlight. Because if this is not a cover-up, I don't know what is. Why this information wasn't disclosed to the public, I just don't know. But it requires an investigation of its own.
Peter Madden of Madden and Finucane Solicitors, thank you very much for speaking to us from Belfast this morning.